Hey everybody, I wanted to come to you and just bring you up to speed kind of on what my thoughts are on the whole Russia-Ukraine war and the president's response to it. So I wrote down a bunch of ideas that I was hoping the president would address in his speech, and it was a long shot. I was hoping he would do it, but I really didn't think he would, and unfortunately he didn't. What I was hoping he was going to say is that he was going to levy just the hugest of all sanctions against Russia, that he would attack every source of income that we possibly can, that he would strike a blow to every sector of Russian finance, and not so much. Some sanctions, but not to the max. Secondly, I was hoping that he was going to say, hey, we're going to reopen the Keystone Pipeline. We're going to flood the market with American oil and even natural gas. We're going to put people back to work. We're going to sell oil and gas to Europe at even discounted rates. We're going to flood the market with American gas and oil. We're going to devalue the ruble, and we're going to bankrupt Russia so that they can't fund this nonsensical war. But not so much. He didn't do that either. This, friends, would have been the best chance of uniting Europe, and even the weaker European nations. They wouldn't have capitulated to Russia much longer if they would have seen a strong American president leading the way and uniting all of Europe. And so it's kind of a lost opportunity. I didn't think Biden would do it, but I was hoping he would. What I expect based on his role in the Obama administration and now in his administration, what I expect is he might do these things later. Unfortunately, after things get worse and more lives are lost, it'll be the typical leading from behind, leading with weakness, and showing the rest of the world that they can just do whatever they want, and we'll talk a tough game, but we'll never back it up. So that's kind of what I expect. Just some side issues I want you to pay attention to. Pay attention to what's happening in China with Taiwan. Here's the deal. If China perceives enough U.S. and world weakness, they may move on Taiwan and seize it on their own. We know they've been wanting to do that for decades, and this could be the perfect opportunity for them to do that if they think that the U.S. is weak and they are leading a weak coalition. Another thing to pay attention to is Iran and Syria. Iran's taking advantage of what's happening right now with Russia and the Ukraine, and they're moving arms into Syria. Israel has had to do some strikes recently, and what's going to go on here, just to get a bigger picture, is situations like this. I'm not saying this one in particular, but situations like this where Russia and Iran and the rest of the countries that are listed in Ezekiel chapter 38, it's going to set them up eventually to come against Israel. Now, I'm not saying that this is that right now, but this will be that at some point. And so as we watch these national players kind of start to align with one another and their purposes get aligned, we can see that the prophecy of Ezekiel 38 is getting nearer all the time. People are asking, Steve, do you think this is World War III? Who knows? I'm definitely not saying that this is World War III, but I do think that it's very important to note that this is the greatest escalation of military activity in Europe since World War II. So that has to get our attention, all right? So here's the deal. Keep your eyes on Jesus. Keep your mind in the scriptures. Keep your heart set on heaven, and keep your hand in the harvest. Share the gospel with somebody that needs to hear it. God bless you guys. We'll see you soon.